So the Game Boy Advance was home to a large variety of genres. That makes sense. As a successor to the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, you would expect it to house all sorts of games. And like those systems, devs and franchises would just slap anything on the thing. Today we're talking about spy games, a prime example that anything goes on this beloved handheld. Some of the games on today's video do everything they can to earn that spy title. The rest? Oh boy. But before we get started, I've already ran into an issue on my quest to play every GBA game. I did a lot of back and forthing on the number of games I would end up having to play. As it turns out, the internet is not always 100% sure on the number. I thought I had found a proper checklist that had taken out all the duplicates, but for some reason it had also removed some random games, including some of the games in this video today. So rather than attempt to count backwards and then have to add games in at the end, just ignore that 819 at the end of the last video. That was number 1. We're counting up. My best guess for the total number of games I'll end up having to play once you factor out all the 3-in-1s, 4-in-1s, double packs, Pokemon-like games which are the same game that came in multiple versions only differentiated by something like color. I've got roughly 900 games to work through. I'm gonna be at this for a while. Even with games that have a 25-ish minute runtime. Speaking of, first up for today, we have Spy Muppets, Licensed to Quack. Some people might like the look of this game and think, wow, this was on the GBA? To me though, there's just something unsettling about it. And spoiler alert, this is not the only one with this uncanny style of graphics either. This entire game is just a bunch of still images and minigames, some of which are repeated in one way or another. They really like the throwing thing. As stated before, this game is incredibly short and obviously intended for a younger audience. It's fine, I guess. Ah, Spy Hunter. I remember you fondly from my NES days. I was an idiot then. The controls are so touchy, but also unresponsive at the same time. And this game loves to end you before you even get started. You can back your car off the truck, then immediately explode because you accidentally launch into the same truck. There's another game on this cartridge called Super Sprint. It is also bad. But this isn't the only Spy Hunter game. This time we have a little more modern take.
Begin operation.
Here's something that will be a running theme in this and future videos. This may be a hot take, I don't know, but games in this perspective and first-person shooters on the GBA, not my favorite. At least this one does play a little bit better than its NES counterpart. Speaking of burning down in a fiery crash, next up is James Pond. I have no freaking clue what's happening. This is a fever dream with Bubsy physics. Why? Now he stretches. Okay. He gets really disappointed with you when you die, though. This is my sleep paralysis demon. Spy Kids 3D. There is absolutely nothing about this that's 3D. I know it's named after a movie and all, but video games from this time period threw the 3D tagline around on their titles like it meant something, so I expected the same here. God, the controls are clunky. My hitbox is eternal, but everything else has a teeny tiny little hitbox, so you gotta aim just right, or this stupid blue thing will kill you in an instant. At least when you die, you spawn right back in like you never left. I made it to this giant robot section, and even though you're slow as Christmas, the other giant robots can hit you fast, and from off screen. My favorite. Next up is Spy Kids Challenger. Challenger of my sanity. I didn't expect a novel in the opening of this game. You just jump. You just jump. You just jump with the loosest freaking controls!
This is the worst!
Let's all practice our vertical leap! Triple X. Am I allowed to show this on YouTube? Sounds kinda saucy. They really captured Vin Diesel's essence in this sprite work. You can just hear the mumble growl.
I am Groot.
In this game, you have a permanently horizontally fixated arm while you run forward and shoot spitwads at Huskies and New York Italians. Oh my god, that's some spicy breath. I've found the best strategy is just to shoot everybody in the dick. All jokes aside, that's a smooth walk cycle, except for that gun arm. Ice 9. Just a first-person shooter on a console with a D-pad, 2 face buttons, and 2 shoulder buttons. You can just imagine how well that works. Ballistic, X versus Sever. Hey look, another one! Okay, now that I've secured the area, time to find the secret entrance to the house. After making a few laps around the house, all I can see is this bump in the textures. Oh, this is how you squat. This is the most confusing maze. Everything looks the same. I can't make heads or tails of anything. Guess I'll just wander around until I find it. Some say he's still walking around that maze to this very day. Backrack. It's another FPS. Actually, I'd say it's a bit of a Doom clone. What? You can immediately walk out of the level and lose just like that. That's pretty funny. This one is actually kind of fun though. It's balls hard, but not bad. How many humans to rescue? Dear God, that's ambitious for a Game Boy game. Probably the best of the bunch so far. Alex Ryder Stormbreaker. This game is alright, I guess. Mostly just boring. The combat is very dry, aiming is hard, and it's overall just kind of slow. I actually played through a decent chunk of this game though, but my recording cut off on me. That made me mad, so I stopped playing. Next, 007 Nightfire, because I guess Dumpster Fire wouldn't have sold as well. Yet again, another FPS. As with several of these in this video, this game was a dumbed down version of a better game on a console. And again, another first-person shooter you're expected to play with the D-pad. Now, I don't know if my time with these games has made playing them a little more manageable. The fact that I'm recording all these games with my RG Cube and therefore reaching for the joystick has created a placebo effect where these feel just a little more manageable to play. Either that or this one is made slightly better than the rest. But I don't hate how this plays. The thing I do hate though is after beating the first stage, I cannot for the life of me figure out how to get to any of the other ones. And finally, we have Everything or Nothing. Another 007 game, but it plays from an isometric view and immediately throws you into the action. At least you don't have to worry about aiming your gun. Just shoot in any direction and the bad guys just die. The game even has a nap button. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. There we go. Solving the problem. Solving the problem. As far as games I've played today go, it could be a lot worse. But it's still very clunky and quite the slog to get through. Seems to be a running theme for these games. Most of these have been movie tie-in games, or at least movie adjacent, with a few exceptions. And almost just as many are very, very dumbed down versions of a better, or at least a higher budgeted game. I don't know what James Pond is though. Ugh. I think I had the most fun with the Muppet game and Backrack, but even those, while alright, were far and away from the best this console has to offer. And yes, I'll get to more of those in time, but I said I was going to play them all, and that includes shovelware too. Going forward, this will most likely be the duality of my uploads, with a few planned exceptions in the future, of course. You've got one deep dive, full playthrough videos of great games that I can talk endlessly about, and the other, collection videos that explore a specific franchise or theme. That's not to say all of those are bad games, it's just that I probably won't do a deep dive on most of them. That being said, I am open to suggestions. If there's any game that you believe I didn't give a fair shake, let me know. And if enough people want to see a revisit, I'll do that. Let me know in the comments what your favorite GBA game is. And if you love or hate any of the games I played today, subscribe for more because I'm slowly but surely playing every US released GBA game ever made. I know you don't want to miss that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.